Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on December 9th, 2017. I have 7 strategies with my game Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, what you're looking at is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 19, 20, 50, 55, and 62. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I put those 5 winning numbers at the top of this list. Okay? And then I transfer the last 3 drawings of numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I do the same thing with orange, green, blue, and purple. So I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing, I got 14 red, 16 orange, 15 green, 12 blue, and 12 purple numbers. Okay, so over to the far right here, this 183. This represents how many color code drawings I kept track of so far, okay? And out of this 183, 97 have been a 3-color combination. 68 have been a 4-color combination. 15 have been a 2-color combination. And only 3 times have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so this number over here, this 3, this represents how many colors have come up. Okay, so for this last drawing, you can see that there was 2 green, 2 blue, and an orange for a total of 3 colors. Okay, so since hardly ever do all 5 colors come up, the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't come up and eliminate it from the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no red numbers will come up. Okay, and the reason why is because as I look back through the history of everything, I can just see a bunch of red numbers. So I just think they're going to cool off and have no red numbers come up like this last drawing did. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate the red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so you can see I blocked out all the red numbers. Okay, so when I block out a number like this, this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so if I'm correct in my pick and none of these red numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so how this works is up at the very top is the master for all the numbers. And over here to the far right are the numbers that just came up. Again, it was the 19, 20, 50, 55, and 62. Okay, so that equals a 4-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down to show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so I have 7 groups here. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. And then number 2 is the teens. The 3 is 20s. And then it's the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate it from the game card. Okay, so how I use this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so as I go through my game here, I like to break things into 5 just because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so here in the individual numbers, why I break it into 5 is because I like to see how many hits were in a certain group. Okay, and if there was a bunch of hits, then maybe the next 5 will won't have so many hits. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that there'll be no 20 numbers coming up. And the reason why is because as I go back through history, I just see a bunch of hits here within these 5 drawings. So I just think it's going to cool down like it did right here with only 2 hits. Okay, so already for this 5 drawings here, there's already been 2 hits in the 20s. And I really believe that that's all there's going to be for all 5 drawings. So I'm going to eliminate these 20 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'll go back to the game card. I'm just going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Again, with no red numbers from the color code, and now no 20 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so if I'm correct with my picks, and none of these numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I divided the numbers into 4 different groups and put colors to them. Okay, so you're going to see I have red, blue, orange, and green. Okay, and I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, so all the option cards look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green. Okay, as far as the stats are concerned. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other. Okay. So what I do is when the 5 white winning numbers come up, and the numbers were 19, 20, 50, 55, and 62, I record those numbers down here in the stats. Okay, so there's 2 in the red area, okay, the 19 and the 20. There was none in the blue area. There was 1 in the orange, the 50. And there was 2 in the green, the 55, and the 62. Okay, so I'm going to touch base on this 19 and 67 here. Okay, so when I go to the game card, you can see that I have these numbers off to the side. You can see the 19s here and the 67s over here. Okay, so what I do is, if I decide that I don't think that any of these red numbers are going to come up, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate all those red numbers off of the game card, including the 19 and the 67. Okay, so basically all I'm doing is keeping track of groups of numbers and deciding whether they're going to come up or not. Okay, so right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to guess what numbers won't be coming up. Okay, and the reason why is again, there's 69 white ball numbers, and only 5 can come up as winners. So that's 64 numbers that won't be able to come up. Okay, so I just think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the actual 5 that do. Okay, so again, the strategy is for my whole game is to eliminate numbers and then simply pick from the rest. Okay, so for this option card, for this group 1, my guess is going to be option card number 4, no orange numbers. And the reason why is because these orange numbers have hit 29 consecutive drawings in a row. Okay, so that ties a record for all 15 option cards. Okay, so I'm going to guess that there's going to be a 0 here. So I'm going to eliminate all these orange numbers. Okay, so you can see there's 4 here for 8, another 4 for 12, another 4 for 16, okay? But then the 25 shares the square with the 65, the 58 shares the square with the 68, and the 53 shares the square with the 69. So I'm eliminating 19 numbers total, okay? So I'm going to go to the game card, and I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far, okay, with all those numbers eliminated, okay? So I'm going to go back to group 1, and my next pick is option card number 7, excuse me, no green numbers. And the reason why is because green has hit 27 consecutive drawings in a row, okay? So I'm just hoping that this is due to miss, so I'm going to eliminate all these green numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the right, and this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I got one more thing in Group 1. Alright, so I'm not going to eliminate any more numbers from Group 1. Okay, even though I have 15 option cards, I just like to keep the picks down to 1 or 2. Okay, sometimes when I feel that, it's just all a gut feeling, so if I feel that 5 of them are going to miss, then I'll pick 5. Okay, but for this drawing, I'm only picking 2. And why I'm pointing this out is this row. Okay, so when all 4 colors hit, I mark it a row. Okay, and every once in a while, like over here, you can see that row doubled up or even tripled up. Okay, so for this option card 10, there's been 28 of these single row marks here. Okay, so it hasn't doubled up since way down here. Okay, so I just think that it's due. I think it's a good opportunity to have it double up. So when I pick my 5 numbers, I want it to represent these 4 colors here in option card number 10. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from Group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my Group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like Group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate it from the game card. Okay, so I'm going to point out this red area. Okay, so you can see that there's a 0 down here. That means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area. And this 2 means, of course, that 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to break things into 5 so I can see a majority. Okay, so if there's 3 or more zeros or 3 or more misses, I color this blue for cold. If there's 3 or more hits, I color it red for hot. Okay, so over time, I can look at this, and if it's really hot for a while, then I know that eventually it's going to turn cold, just because that's how random works. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that there's going to be a 0 right here in the yellow area. Okay, so as you look through, you can see that it's been really, really hot. And now I just think it's going to turn cold, so I'm going to eliminate these yellow numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far, and you can see that I eliminated all those yellow numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to Group 2, and the next one I'm going to take is option card number 2. No green numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the green. And as we go down, you can see that it kind of got hot right here. So I just think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so you can see there's no more green numbers here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Group 2. And the next one is option card number 5. No green numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for green. And as I go down, you can see that it got pretty hot here, so I just think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Again, you can see that I eliminated all those green numbers. All right. So off to the next one. Back to Group 2. And my next pick is option card number 7. No green numbers. Okay, so again, here's the stats for green. You can see it's been pretty hot, and now I think it's going to cool off. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Alright, so I'm going to go back to group 2. And my next pick is option card number 9. No yellow numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for yellow. And you can see it got pretty hot, and now I think it's going to cool off, and I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these yellow numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Alright, so I'm going to go back to group 2. And my next pick is option card number 12. No gray numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for gray. You can see it got pretty hot here, so I just think it's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these gray numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Alright, so I'm going to go back to group 2 for one last pick. Option card 14, no gray numbers. Okay, so again, here's the stats for gray. And you can see it got pretty hot here, so I just think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these gray numbers off of the game card. And this is what the game card looks like. Okay, so again, if I made all those picks correct, okay, and none of those numbers come up, that means that the 5 white winning numbers should come up within these numbers that are still left on the board, okay? So if I made all the right picks, I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize, okay? So I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so since I have a bunch of numbers still left on the board here, I got 5, and 5 is 10, and 3 is 13, and another 5 is 18 numbers left. Okay, so now I need to pinpoint where I think those numbers are going to come up, and the 50-50 picks helps me do that. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there's going to be a majority of numbers of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. Okay, so I like to keep track of that and try to guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so this 227 represents how many drawings I kept track of so far. Okay, and that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so out of this 227, 111 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers, and 116 have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so again, I like to break things into 5 so I can see the majority. Okay, so for this last 5, it was odds, and before that, it was evens. So I can go way back in time, okay, way back in history and see what it was. Okay, so if there's been a bunch of evens, then maybe I'm going to start thinking that it's going to be odds. Okay, so for this drawing here, I see that there's 3 drawings in a row that have been majority odd of even numbers. So I'm just going to guess that it's going to be the majority of odd numbers this time. Okay, so when I pick my numbers, I want at least 3 of them to be odd numbers. Okay, so over here to the highs and low of things here, I think that it's going to be to the high side, okay, because it just looks so sparse over here, all right, that I think it's going to heat up a little bit over here on the high. So when I pick my numbers, I want to make sure at least 3 of them are in this red area here, the high side. Okay, and then I have left and right, okay. So for this drawing here, since left is so far behind on the right here, I'm just going to think that this is going to go on a little run. So I'm going to pick more to the left side than the right side. And the last one is red and blue. And since blue is so far behind on the red, I'm going to pick that I think at least 3 numbers will land in this blue area than the red area. Okay, so this is what I have for the Powerball itself, the red ball. This red ball right here. Okay, so there's 26 red balls total. Okay, so in this column here, blue number means that it's a low number, 1 to 13, and red means it's a high number, 14 to 26. And over in this column here, a red means that it's odd, and blue means that it's even. Okay, so for this drawing here, I think that this is going to be red, and I think that this is going to be red. Okay, so I think the Powerball will be a high odd number. Okay, so going back to the game card here. Okay, so here's the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, I think the majority will be to the odd, for the odd numbers, more odd than even. I think the majority will be to the high side than the low side. I think the majority will be to the left side than the right side. And I think the majority will be to this blue area and not the red area. Okay, so for my next strategy number 6, pick the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, so for this strategy, I'm just going to stick to group 2. Okay, I just think there's going to be lots of orange hits in group 2. So what that means is I keep track of group 2 as an overview. Okay, so again, there's 15 option cards in group 2. So that means that there's 15 red areas, 15 blue areas, and so on. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. If there's 8 or more misses, I color it blue for cold. If there's 8 or more hits, I color it red for hot. So that helps me able to predict what's going to be hot and cold as a group. Okay, so here you can see that orange has a bunch of single red marks. So I just think that this is going to double up right here. I think that this is going to be a red mark, and I think there's going to be lots of hits to it. Okay, so what that means, as I go back to this group 2, again, you can see that I keep track of red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. And again, all the option cards look the same, except that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different. Okay, so there's going to be 15 of these orange marks here. Okay, and I think that there's going to be lots of hits to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start out number 1 here. Okay, so I'm going to see what's left on the game card in this orange area here on option card number 1. Okay, so what's left is the 3 and the 43. So I wrote this down over here, 3 and 43. Okay, so I did that with all the option cards, and these are all the numbers that are left in the orange area. Okay. So one more thing I want to point out in this group 2 is this option card number 9. Okay, I'm just going to pump this up a little bit. Okay, so these numbers off to the right here, okay, this means how many groups it hit. Okay, so this last drawing, you can see a 4. So you can see that there was 1 in the orange area, 1 in the purple, 1 in the brown, and 2 in the gray, for 4 groups total. Okay, so I colored this green because the majority of the numbers hit over to the right side. Okay, so if the majority of the numbers come up to the left side, I color it red. Okay, but the thing that I want to point out here is this 3. Okay, I haven't seen a 3 in a very long time here. Okay, and 3s usually come up all the time. Okay, so if you look back through history, you can see plenty of 3s. Okay, so I'm expecting to see a 3 right here. Okay, so I want to, when I pick what I think will be the 5 winning numbers, I want it to represent 3 colors here in this group 9, okay? In this option card number 9 in group 2. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card here, okay? And my next strategy is strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so the numbers I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 3, the 14, the 33, the 47, and the 52. Okay, so the 3 is green, the 14 is green, the 33 is purple, the 47 is purple, the 52 is purple for a 2-color combination, okay, which does come up every now and again, okay. So with this combination of these numbers, that will give me 14 hits and 11 hits and 4 misses in the orange area. Okay, so I thought there would be a lot of hits there. Okay, so again, in group 1, option card number 10, I wanted this to reflect all 4 colors. Okay, so here I got the 3 is red, the 14 is blue, the 33 is orange, the 47 is orange, and the 52 is green. Okay, so that represents all 4 colors like I want. And then in this group 2, option card number 9, I just wanted 3 colors. So the 3 is orange, the 14 is orange, the 33 is red, the 47 is red, and the 52 is brown. Okay? And another thing with the individual numbers, I haven't seen a 5 in a long time. Okay? So 5 groups hasn't come up in a long time. And the 5s usually, used to come up a lot here. Okay? So I wanted to hit 5 groups as well. Okay? So the 3's in this group. Okay? And then the 14's in this group. The 33 is in its own little group here. The 47's in its own group. And then the 52 is in its group. So that will give me 5 groups that I'm looking for. Okay, so I think that this will be a 5. Okay, so that's how I came up with these numbers. Okay, so again, the numbers that I'm going to go with is 3, 14, 33, 47, and 52. Alright folks, I appreciate you watching. If you're interested in my game and you want to get it, you can visit my website at www.patreon.com/decoding the Powerball. And if you'd like to email me personally, you can email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Alright folks, I appreciate you watching and best of luck with your picks.